I've ballsed it up. Hello. Yeah. Well, in some ways I have ballsed it up, and in other ways I have actually made a little bit more progress. This is my flipper. I'm going to show you how I got to this stage, and then I'm also going to show you how I managed to balls it up as well. So for this part I'm cutting out the arms of the top part of the flipper. I kind of ran with a simple idea that I've had. I didn't particularly design them in CAD. I thought that was a sort of cross that bridge when we get to it moment. And, well, it seems to turn out okay. Now the reason why I did it this way is because I'm going to attempt to run another bit of HDPE off that to mount the other section of thin HDPE sheet and the titanium. I kind of now see that if I did it all as one piece, so this end here would have been a little bit longer, probably would have been a bit lighter, because this method I'm going to have to use screws or some means to attach extra onto it. That also means I could use thinner HDPE. It also means there's more points of failure, but then also there's more points that can be easily fixed. So if I was to lose the inner bulkhead of this, then I could easily replace it with an identical piece. Whereas if it was one whole piece, then I would have to have an entire whole piece. I've marked up my pivot drill holes here and here. I'm gonna drill a hole big enough for an M4 bolt. Right, so I've got the flipper arm mounted to a bulkhead. That's the hole I'm going to go through. I'm going to drill a pilot hole first, I think, just to see where it lines up. Ooh, I'm very close to that screw hole, I've only just noticed. I don't think that's a problem. So I've drilled the hole and I've actually put on the flipper. As we can see, there's a lot of right angles because of the HDPE being, well, a square. That's not particularly flat, is it? Right, that's better. This tip here is going to create a stop. What's the best way of marking that out? So what I actually did was you mark it and then move it and then mark it and move it, and then this little piggy went to mark it as well, and then move it and then mark it, and eventually you can then see the circumference that you need to cut out. Genius, aren't I just? No. And now you can see that it travels all the way around and it shouldn't stop at the back. As you can see, the flipper arms still a little bit rough, nothing a bit of sanding won't rectify. Yeah, there's a little bit of rough edges on here and on that top polycarb, but that easy fix, I think. So the idea will be to run two thin bits of HDPE through here, screw them in, and yeah, that pretty much will be the flipper on its way to being done. So on this side we got two normal wood screws. They were a little bit too long, so they had to be sanded down. That's on there, that's pretty rigid. Then the top plate will go on there, bit more on the front, And then down here will be the titanium wedge. Major thing that I want to do is fit this motor into here like that. That will be the lifter mechanism. I'm going to cut out some more HDPE. Right, super bodgy, I know, but I wanted to test to see if it worked. In the back, the motor is cable tied to the back panel, so it is going to restrict the flipper, but I just wanted to see if it actually worked and it holds long enough to be able to lift. Of course, it needs to be held in a lot better, and then we're going to add something to our arm to hopefully increase its lifting potential. That's the plan. Yeah, I just think we're going to screw the motor there. It's far enough away from the bolt that it might not be too much of a hindrance, and there's enough clearance for it to, for the arm to articulate just here. There we go. Bugger, it's actually starting to rain. Get the tools away quick. Let's see if we can find the battery in the ESC and see how it operates now that it's not cable tied. I do have a habit of running before I can walk, because I know that it can do the thing that I want it to do. But it's not too bad. I think the biggest fear is I don't actually know how much this motor can lift. I do know that it could self-right original falter. My reasoning is that if it can self-right 1.5 kilos, as in itself, then it should be able to lift another beetle weight of the same weight. I don't know if that's true. Maybe someone can weigh in on that. This is going to be a bit of a eureka moment if it actually works. Let's see if it lifts. Oh, there is movement. Ah, that's probably why. I've got my controller mix wrong. It did end up on its back. Oh, bit more momentum, I think. A little bit more momentum. Ah, time. Oh, gone. It's so close. It is so bloody close. Oh, it just needs a little bit more to tip it over. Pray to the robot gods. It's literally there. It is. It is so bloody close. Yes! I know the roller tape is there. It actually did it. I'm not going to be able to recreate that now, am I? My celebrations are a bit short-lived, to be honest, because I did keep on trying to recreate the self-right, and the motor. Well, the motor's fine, but the gears have given up the ghost. So that means this motor's pretty much dead. Fixing it is way beyond my pay grade. I'm just going to have to buy another motor, aren't I? It was going so well as well. So yeah, as you can see, that is the flipper done. This is the stage we are currently at, where the flipper goes in there with a few bolts. I have bought a new motor for the flipper. So remember, that's your standard size. This massive thing. That's the new motor. It barely fits. It is massive. It is huge. But hopefully this one won't fail. It's got a bit more torque. My only concern now is weight. I'm at the moment just trying to get it finished and moving and in a sort of operable state, and then I'm going to have to take some weight off it. But I technically still have to finish the flipper. So next time, in part 2 of this crazy saga, we'll fit this new motor and then give that a test and see if it works. Fingers crossed I won't shear any bloody teeth. This'll shear first. And never be fazed by failure. It's part of the learning process. Although, to be quite honest, I would rather the motor had gone during a fight rather than trying to self-right. Anyway, thank you for watching. Part 2 will come soon, where we'll see this flip itself back onto its wheels.